I have no regrets defending It Ends With Us, but can I defend regressing you? Well, yes and no. Regressing You, directed by Josh Boone, the director of The Fault in Our Stars and The New Mutants, and is the 2025 movie adaptation based on the book by Coleen Hoover of the same name. So, Regressing You tells the story of Morgan, played by Alison Williams, raising her rebellious teenage daughter, Claire, played by Michaela Grace, and uh, after a devastating tragedy and car crash in which both Morgan's husband and Claire's father, Chris, and Morgan's sister and Claire's aunt Jenny are killed. It's causes a divide and tension to rise between mother and daughter, especially as Morgan and Claire's uncle, Jenna, discover the shocking truth about Jenny and Chris's affair that they kept in secret all this time. And as Claire starts seeing a teenage and as Claire starts seeing this boy, Miller, who works at a cinema, played by Mason Thames, tensions with her mother only continue to rise as the title suggests. Yes, all the characters do begin to have regrets now. With the success of last year's It Ends With Us taking in $350 million at the box office, it was inevitable that more of Coleen Hoover's novels would be adapted to the big screen. And the director of The Fault in Our Stars, on paper, would seem ideal to adapt a romance novel from Coleen, as The Fault in Our Stars is one of the most touching and beautiful romance dramas of the 2010s, and is still his best movie, though The New Mutants are, we all know what a train wreck that turned out to be. So as a filmmaker, he is hit or miss, and and with Regressing You, I mean, yeah, this movie really is has been slammed by the critics. I've heard people go as far as calling this one of the worst pieces of garbage to be dumped on the big screen this year. And I don't think Regressing You is quite deserving of all the hate, but it is still a highly flawed movie and not great by any means. While this is a step down from It Ends With Us and Nothing Special, I still think it's one of Josh Boone's mid-tier films, where 50% he got right and the other 50% he got wrong. But I'm curious to hear Colleen's thoughts on this movie herself. While this is not going to be the rave review I wanted to give this movie, as it was my most anticipated October movie, I still have no regrets watching it. The acting completely and utterly saves the movie. I mean, especially Alison Williams. What a vastly underrated actress she is, and yeah, she is astonishing as Morgan, and Morgan, she's got so much on her plate, as bless her, as she's all of a sudden just become a single mother, and even though she's not perfect, she is taking out her grief and her emotions on her daughter by constantly grounding her daughter every time her daughter runs away to get away from all the drama in her life. And she is keeping lots of big secrets from her daughter and about her aunt and dad's affair, but she doing it with the best intentions, doing the wrong things for the right reasons. Her best acting is when she finds out about the affair for the first time with Jonah, and she just bashes Chris's Cara with her bag. You can just feel her rage and her disgust of finding out the truth that her husband has been cheating on her this entire time, and her sister didn't even tell her about it. And even Jonah's actor, yes, he is dressed completely like a geek in this movie, and but he gave uh, a strong emotional performance to the point where you feel his loss too, and you're like, oh yeah, it clearly should have been Morgan and Jonah that married, and yeah, how yeah, and thankfully they do finally admit their love for one another, and do fight for one another more, and so their romance was the better executed romance in the film of the two. And Michaela Grace as Claire, she is the star of the younger cast of this film. She is so good. Whoa. She has got such a bright future ahead of her after this film. Of course, she is capable of a really guest delivering raw rage and emotion in the fight scenes with her mum. She's as capable as Alison Williams, so you totally buy the mother and daughter chemistry. It's as if she's Alison Williams' daughter in real life. It's that well acted, and even though Claire's decision to get with Miller is questionable in my opinion, and that love story was not so well done, as it kind of makes Claire go against her aunt's wishes. Jenny was like, honey, no, you don't want to be the other girl. If he already has a girlfriend, he's taken. Claire very tragically blames herself for Chris and Jenny's deaths, as she was text bombing her aunt at the time, but she doesn't realise it was her dad that was driving, not Jenny. So yeah, the misunderstandings in this film are certainly do rip your heart out. Yeah, Coleen Hoover, she is so freaking good at making you cry in every single one of her stories. I have never read the source material, so I'm not qualified to judge or compare this film to the book that it's based on, but I hope the book wrote Miller as a character better, because in this film he made me mad, literally, and Mason Thames is the one actor in the cast who's miscast. I think he's an overrated actor. Sorry, I despised him as Hiccup and in the live action How to Train Your Dragon, and while his performance is microscopically better here, it's not a huge improvement. His acting is still dull as dishwater, and he's a kind of a cad for cheating on his girlfriend, lying to his girlfriend, and then breaking up with her, getting back with her, and then breaking up with her again so he can be with Claire. I'm like, seriously, what is wrong with this guy? And we never even see his girlfriend. We're only told about her off screen. Wouldn't it have hurt Paramount to just cast another young teenage girl as his girlfriend? And had she physically appeared in the movie, we could have had a better explanation as to why he wanted to leave her in favour of Claire. So I can see the criticisms for the script here, and yeah, because It Ends With Us was clearly made by a more talented team of people who knew what they were doing, like Blake Lively producing and Justin Balaloni directing. Josh Boone is not as talented as either of them, clearly, but one particular favourite cast member of mine was Clancy Brown as Miller's grandfather, and it's a shame he doesn't have more scenes or more lines in the film, because he was one of the most charming parts, and he brought that extra warmth to the cast. And yes, I geeked out when I saw Mr. Krabs and Hank Anderson from Detroit become human in this movie. And the emotional beats are are decently done, like when uh, 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 Claire and her friend have too much to drink at her dad's grave, and uh, and Morgan and Claire finally resolve their fight and become close again. So even if the ending is predictable, it is what your emotions want to see. So it's still satisfying to a degree. I will say visually, this film is certainly a downgrade from It Ends With Us, because the flower shop in It Ends With Us was stunning. This film doesn't quite have the gorgeous locations or top-notch cinematography that It Ends With Us did. The soundtrack was also less memorable than It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us had a freaking Taylor Swift song, so you can't hope to top that. And yeah, and you do feel the runtime in this film more. It's an hour and 55 minutes, and at times it does feel like it's taking as long for you to read the book It Ends With Us. Well, when it shouldn't, because film is supposed to be better paced than books. So overall, It Ends With Us is not the regretful watch as the critics are labelling it, nor is it one of the worst movies of 2025. However, I would be lying if I said I was expecting more from a Coleen Hoover adaptation. This is the first one that does not live up to its source material. I have a love and hate relationship with it, but this is still a solid movie for mothers and daughters to watch, and romance fans to watch.
I give Regressing You 3 stars out of 5. Good movie.
At least it's not long now until November and December, which will have the two biggest movies this year. Oh well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on Regressing You, and how does it compare to It Ends With Us for you of the Coleen Hoover adaptations? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you next time when I review Replicate, a pretty awesome lower budget horror flick that I rented back in summer. And remember, movies are us. Bye guys.